Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin if you guys are new around here, and today I'm going to be sharing an educational gift guide. So before I became a stay-at-home mom, I was a teacher, and now I stay home with my boys and we do homeschool. And so having toys in our house is inevitable. And I'm definitely leaning towards more of a simple living mindset. So I don't want to have tons and tons of toys that my kids are going to play with. And honestly, I feel like most of the time when we have tons of toys, our kids don't play with half of them, if not more than half anyways. So today, instead of sharing with you guys the newest and coolest toys that are out on the market right now, I want to share with you guys the toys that my kids have played with for years and years. These are open-ended toys that are going to get their curiosity sparked. They're going to get their imagination going. It's toys that they're very open-ended, so they can play with them in lots and lots of different ways. And these are the toys that we've invested in and that have stood the test of time. Let's get started with our number one favorite toy. So my favorite toy that my kids play with, and they play with them almost every day, are magnetic tiles. So they have magnetic tiles. I think the brand is called Magnetile. We don't have any of those. So this is what they look like. And you can build different structures. You can form different shapes. They're wonderful. My kids will build castles. They will build forts. They will build spaceships. They will build you name it with these things. And we've actually kind of gathered a couple different sets. We really like the Picasso brand and I think it's called Playmags. I will link both of them below. And they're both way more affordable than the Magnetile brand, which I want to say is like around $1 a tile, which is absolutely insane. It's so basically 100 tile set, which I feel like you need at least 100 tiles to be able to build anything super creative, is around $100. But the Picasso and the Playmags brand are right around like the $30 to $40 mark. So as you can see, we have a lot of them. I think we have 2 or 3 sets now. And my kids love them. They play with them constantly. They are so imaginative, and they can play with these along with other toys that they have and really get their creativity juices going. So love those. Highly recommend them. I think anywhere from about 3 years old and up, these are wonderful. And my 9-year-old still loves them too. So I really think that they kind of have a nice wide age range. So if you get them for your kids when they're young, they're really going to last a long time. And I mean, really, it's a toy that I am fine playing with my kids too. And I enjoy, so I feel like they're going to last a long time. The next toy that I'm going to share is one of those toys that I have a love-hate relationship with because they hurt when you step on them really bad, but it's Lego. So my kids play with Lego constantly. It's one of those things where if I got rid of every other toy and all they had left was Lego, they'd probably be fine because they love it that much. But we have collected lots of different Legos throughout the years. So we've got the sets, and then we've also got just the big old box where they can be creative. And I think both are fine. I think both are great. I prefer them to have lots of options so that they can be creative and they don't have to stick with just the main format of, the instruction type building, which again, those are fine too. I think that those are helping them learn to follow directions, learn to use instructions well. So I don't think that those are bad by any means. We have both. We love both. I recommend both. And I think if you have, whether it's boys or girls, they're wonderful. Doesn't matter. So my next recommendation is actually for marble runs. So we originally started with a marble run kind of like this, where you build a tower with the pieces and it goes higher and higher. You get the idea. And then you put the marbles in and they follow the marble run. I think that this is really good to start somewhere around age 3, as long as your kids aren't putting marbles in their mouths, obviously. So we do have that. However, last year we invested in, We invested in Gravitrax, and this is amazing. So I feel like Gravitrax, it says 8 to 99 for the age range. My 5-year-old does it just fine. So I don't think you need to be 8 years old to do Gravitrax. But I do feel like if you start with, you know, this one, and then if your kid really likes this and they have an engineer type mind, or they're kind of interested in that, then Gravitrax is a wonderful, wonderful thing to get. It's a little bit more expensive. So we just got the main, I think it was it's the starter set. It's around $60, but if you watch the Target ads and stuff, you can get that 25% off coupon, and then you stack everything. And so I think we got ours for like $35 or $40. It was a big Christmas gift last year, but I think Gravitrax is so good. If your kids are really into the marble run, I think Gravitrax is the perfect next step. Somewhere around 1st or 2nd grade, I feel like would be a great way to kind of introduce the Gravitrax. If you have younger kids, these are wonderful. These are about the same price, honestly, probably $30 to $40 on Amazon. I will make sure to link both of them down below. Another set of toys that my kids love are the Connects. So the Connects are just different pieces, and they kind of pop into place, and you can build all kinds of different structures with them. So we have this huge box of Gravitrax, and we have a couple different sets now. And I think they're fun because they are another way for kids to help them learn to follow instructions, but they can also be creative. So obviously I have boys. They build swords with them and guns. That's just boys for you. So, but I really think that there's lots of different things you can build. You can build cars, you can build towers, you can build spaceships, you can build trains, you can build whatever. And there's lots of different ideas as well, which is really fun. And I think on Pinterest, they have different ideas that kind of get their imaginations going. And then they can use these pieces to build to their heart's content. So I'm all about the building toys. While on that topic of building toys, I also really love these wooden blocks. So these are the Melissa and Doug wooden blocks. My kids have had these for 3 or 4 years at least, and we love them. So they're very, very durable, and they fit nicely in this case, which my kids find oddly fun to clean up their blocks because it's kind of like Tetris, getting them back into this box. But they will build castles and houses, and they work really well with different toys that they're using too. But this is just, I feel like having a nice, good quality set of wooden blocks is something that like every child needs. And so I highly recommend the Melissa and Doug ones. All right, so moving on, I want to talk about some games. I think if you can have 3 games in your kids' game cabinet, these are the 3 that they need. So Blockus, it says 7 and up. I don't think you need to be 7. I think you can be 4. I think 4 and up is totally doable. My son is 4 and actually has beat us several times playing this game. It is one of those games where it says 2 to 4 players. It's going to be the hardest with 4 players, but it is so much fun. My kids absolutely love it. It's one of the games that gets pulled out of our game cabinet all the time. And it's really logical thinking. So it's really going to get kids thinking, you know, using that part of their brain that thinks logically. So I think that games like this, they're so much fun and they're educational and they don't even know it. So Blockus for sure. Uno, ours is completely torn up. Again, this says 7+. I think 3 to 4-year-olds can play Uno. I think Uno is a great game to get them started with number and color recognition. Obviously, you might have to have a parent helping a younger child, and that's totally fine. But we love Uno. I really just think that Uno is a great card game and it's so affordable. So I will link Uno down below as well. To go along with Uno, I think that these card holders for little kids, especially if you're going to start with like your 3, 4, 5-year-olds, are awesome. I got this on Amazon. I want to say it was only $3 or $4. So we use this for lots of different card games for our youngest. We've actually had this since my oldest was probably 3 or 4. So it's really held up well for the cost. But it's perfect to go along with Uno. And this would be a perfect stocking stuffer. Finally, the last game that my kids love is Canoodle. So we started with the basic Canoodle, which is just a logic game. And so it gives you, a way to get all of these pieces to fit in here. And then it also gives you this little booklet, and it will give you different ideas of like how to fill in the missing piece. So they can work through this booklet, and my son's done this multiple times, and it gets harder and harder as it goes to the back, and it gives you less and less pieces so that you have more to fill in. So we started with the original Canoodle, and my 4-year-old at the time loved it so much that he wanted Canoodle, and so then we found Canoodle Junior, which is very similar, but the pieces are a little bit bigger and you don't have quite as much space to work with, and they're probably not as much of a choking hazard if you have them for little kids. I think probably 4 years and up would be good for the Canoodle Junior. And then we have now, it's called Canoodle Genius. And so this one is where you can take the pieces and take them out of here, so you can fit them in here, or you can use the top part and stack them up and make it a 3D version. So these are all really fun. They're all logic, thinking type games. They're all super affordable, around $10 each, and would be great stocking stuffers, but also just a great present to go under the tree. We only have 3 right now, but I have a feeling we're going to be adding a few more to our collection pretty soon. So Canoodle is wonderful. We love Canoodle. I will link those down below. Finally, the last couple things I'm going to share with you guys are maybe not outside the box, but I think sometimes are easily forgotten. So I think sometimes we feel like we need to get our kids all of these like crafty type things, maybe a craft kit or something, which I'm not against. I think those are fun. But I think sometimes just basic crayons and colored pencils, markers, construction paper are highly overlooked. And they are the things that get our kids to really be creative rather than following instructions and going by the book. They can kind of create their own things. So I think just getting very basic craft supplies and kind of getting back to the basics with that is really important for our kids to make sure that they have those basic things that they can use to create things in our homes. And then finally, if you're in our house, every single birthday, Christmas, whatever, you always get a book. It's just kind of part of life. So I'm just going to kind of share a few of our favorites, and I will link these down below. Honestly, I could do an entire video all on some of our favorite children's books for the different ages, up until 9 or 10 years old, but I'm just going to share some that I grabbed off of our shelf today. So for board books, The Little Engine That Could. I also think anything by Sandra Boynton is really good. Eric Carle is wonderful. The Little Blue Truck is a fantastic book for little boys. If you have a little boy, we know that one by heart in our house. So this is wonderful. The Little Engine That Could. Once you have kids who are maybe 4, 5, 6 years old and they're starting to learn words and become early readers, the Mo Willems Elephant and Piggy books are fantastic. These are fun reads rather than those easy readers that are leveled. I think these are actually way easier for kids to learn. They can pick up on them. My 5-year-old has some of them actually memorized at this point, but there's, I think, over 20 of these. We love them. We have several of them, and we might be getting a few more for Christmas. As far as picture books go, we have hundreds of picture books in our house, and I am not ashamed to say it. I think anything by Chris Van Dusen is wonderful. The Circus Ship, one of our absolute favorite books to read together. We read this one over and over again. Anything by Eric Carle, Jan Brett, Mo Willems. I could go on and on and on, but I won't right now. So just finding good quality picture books and adding them to your shelves for your kids to pull off and read together. Look at the pictures. That's how you create a literature-rich environment for your kids. That's how you raise kids to love reading, is to have reading available to them and reading to them. So those are some of our favorite picture books. And then just a few chapter books that we've recently loved. I think any of the classic starts books are really good for younger readers, probably 3rd through 5th grade. These are good because they're like the abridged version? I think that's what you call them. So they're a little shorter than the actual classics, but it kind of gets your kids interested in some of the classics. And some of our favorites, The Mouse and the Motorcycle and Anything Else by Beverly Cleary is wonderful. This is Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, but anything by Roald Dahl. We recently read The BFG. My son just read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Matilda, The Witches, all of them by Roald Dahl are wonderful. And then Indian in the Cupboard. He read this one, I want to say last spring, he read this one. This one's a little bit higher. I would say probably 4th, 5th grade, unless you have a really strong reader, but this is a wonderful story. And then I also love anything by DK Books. So I love these kind of reference type books. My kids love them too because they just like to look at the pictures. So this one's on oceans, has beautiful pictures. And so we have this one sitting out and they love to look at that one. And then this one is absolutely beautiful. Like the outside of that book, oh, you guys. Can you tell I'm a book lover? So I like this one because it talks about lots of different animals and it just gives you a nice little snippet about them. So you're not feeling like you're reading forever and ever. So if you have little kids, this is great to just pull down and read, 3, 5, 7 pages. And you can learn little bits of information about lots and lots of different animals. And the pictures are beautiful. So I will link this one down below. It is called An Anthology of Intriguing Animals. And I believe that DK has a few other anthology type books that are kind of similarly done with the foil overlay. Is that what you call that? All right. I hope that you guys got some good ideas for some maybe outside the box educational type toys for your kids this Christmas. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.